big step, and it's probably the hardest step for most people
Of course.
to go to, because then it can feel like I failed if I look at some of the decisions I've made, or the things that have happened to me, or my
Right.
wife left me, or my kids hate me, or they don't talk to me, or whatever it is. And those are the things which are the most painful, right? When they're directly related.
I've gone
family,
through, 2 divorces actually, and yeah, it's incredibly painful. But there's no such thing as failure in life. There's
Exactly.
only experiences.
Yep. Yep.
Right? A failure has a judgment to it. Like, we screwed up.
Yes, and
You
that's
didn't
human
screw up.
beings.
Yeah,
that's how we interpret it, right? That's what we, because that's what we've been
but
conditioned.
that's
It's
a
failure.
that's a mental labeling.
Yes.
It's just a word. It's just a thought. It's just a concept, right? I mean, there's no, in this universe, there's no such thing as failure. There's only experiences. They're neutral.
Yeah. Yeah.
And how we perceive them is whether or not we perceive them as good or bad, or right or wrong, and all those things. But from the universe perspective, everything is neutral. Everything is just an experience.
Yeah.
Now, the whole purpose of this Earth School, right, is do we learn from it? And we know that this intelligence of life itself, we all know about it, because we have had situations, each single one of us, where we keep making the same mistake, which keeps producing the same result until we change what we do. Right? And each time we do this, we don't learn the lesson. We negate it, we dismiss it, whatever. Right? And we see this show up in relationships a lot, right? We pick the wrong partners and we keep doing the same thing. Because maybe we're coming from fear. Maybe we're coming from, just being content, not being fully in love, but this is all I can get, right? It's poverty mindset. Whatever it is. And there's no judgment around this stuff. It's just like, life is presenting you an opportunity each and single time, like to do a reflection.
Mm-hmm.
And the question always to ask is, how did I create this?
Yeah.
How did I create this in my life? And if you're seeing it show up time and again, then really ask yourself the question, what am I doing to continuously create this? And usually what happens, because this is the intelligence of the universe, each time it gets a little worse.
So you get it.
Your universe is dialing up the volume, the pain, the suffering, right? Because you're not listening.
Yep.
You're ignoring, you're dismissing, you're like, well, it wasn't my fault, right? And all the universe is really doing is, no, you really should kind of look a little deeper here, because it doesn't need to be like this. You can create something else in your life, right? You're that powerful. Now, this is the beautiful thing about taking 100% responsibility. Yes, we now have to accept this responsibility, but we also become incredibly powerful, because in the moment you say, that wasn't my fault, you have abdicated all your personal power. Because basically you're saying it was that person, it was the universe, it was circumstances, the moon was in the wrong position, whatever, right?
Whatever, yeah.
Now it's outside of you. So you're helpless.
Yeah.
Now you're like this, I tell people, now you're a raft bobbing around in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, and you're trying to pedal with your hands, which is basically what your actions are, right? Now, you can get to the other side of the ocean that way, theoretically, if the currents and winds are favorable, but you have no control. Now,
and you might die by then, right?
100% responsibility means you have a sailing yacht, you hoist your sails, right? You assess where you want to go. You look at the currents, you look at the winds, you look at your navigational maps. Yep. You're using the tools that you have, right? The spiritual tools you have accumulated. And you say, you know what? I am 100% in control. And maybe I won't get there in a direct line and I have to tack a few times, but I'm setting where I want to go, right? And I'm using all the tools that I have. And I am a powerful creator. I know deep down inside that I can create anything that I have that comes from the heart, by the way, not the mind, because the mind wants to become somebody, right? So watch out when your mind tells you you need to be somebody, to become somebody.
Mhm.
That's a clear till indication. Your egoic mind is playing tricks on you. Because your egoic mind thinks that when you get this promotion and you get that pay raise or
Yep.
that house, now you're complete.
Yeah.
Well, we're never complete when it's outside of us. Completion is inside, it's an inner job, right? But when the inspiration comes from your heart, from love, right? I really want to create this experience in my life. Now, we are sailing in the right direction. Because now we have total clarity. It comes from the heart, it's love. And it doesn't mean that life is now perfectly without any kind of ups and downs, or that, you don't have to work anymore. You can just sit and visualize it and it will just miraculously appear as a mirage in your life.
Mhm.
No, that's all nonsense. Of course, you have to take aligned action. Of course, you have to speak, think, and do in congruence with what you want to create, which means you have to step into the world. You have to move the small wheels so the universe can move the big wheels for you, right? You're not going to do this with a bag of Doritos binge watching Netflix. Like, it's just not going to happen. Like, we have to go into this physical world. And now this idea, this inspiration, this divine inspiration, that dream that wants to come out of you, right? That wants to come through you, really, because, this is all a divine play. You're like, now we have to bring it into the world. So we go on a journey. We go figure out how to bring this into the world. We figure out how to get there, right? And it's exciting. It's fun. And we're going to, scrape our knees a few times, and, we're going to go through a few rabbit holes that don't work. Well, that's just telling us, okay, that wasn't the rabbit hole. Okay, I'll go somewhere else, right? Until we create this. Because, Einstein says, right, the most important decision you make in your life is whether or not this is a benevolent or, I lost the word now, or an evil universe.
Oh.
Now, that choice dictates everything. Because if you staunchly believe that this is a benevolent universe, then you can see the wisdom that this infinite intelligence would never put a dream, an aspiration, a wish in you that you don't have the talents, gifts, and superpowers to realize. This universe is not cruel. It's not going to. Now, when those wishes and dreams come from the outer world telling you that for you to be happy, you need to have a new BMW, right? That is probably not a wish from the universe. So we get lost in these things because we think these, and there's nothing wrong with having a BMW. There's nothing wrong with being happy with it.
Yeah.
But, this is where we go kind of awry, because we're searching for things to hang on to. Because if I have that, now I'm like, if I lose 10 pounds, now I'm going to be like, then I'm going to be happy. Well, guess what? It's always fleeting, right? You get there and then it's like, okay, now what?
If you would like to watch more videos like this, then please subscribe to my channel below. Once again, my name is Stephen Dobos, and you can download a free centering exercise. The information is in the description box below.